Let's talk to retail analyst Kate Hardcastle now. Kate, good to see you. So why are so many of us going cashless?
There's been big change in the fact that we've gone from having no technology that can aid payment other than traditional credit cards, debit cards and cash, to the fact that something as simple as your watch now can pay for your coffee and you're on the move. A lot of people prefer that flexibility, and therefore we've seen the businesses that actually serve those customers adopt their ways to change. There's a few things that happens as an outcome though. Firstly, if you don't carry cash and you're constantly paying for things in a way that doesn't feel you're actually paying, are you as in control of your finances as you think? And another, obviously, is for those people who love cash and want to use that and they want to make sure that's their chosen payment form. There's actually some businesses now that are only card or mobile payment only. They're not, they don't take cash at all. And therefore, is that business actually doing itself a disservice?
And it's hard as well with children. You know, if you're trying to teach children about money and about how much things cost, as you say, if they aren't actually having to count it out and hand over the cash, there's a disconnect, isn't there, between what you're spending and where it comes from?
And sometimes the children only have pocket money to spend, and they certainly don't have card payments, although there are some cards now, believe it or not, available for children that you can monitor. I think the thing is, it's showing a change in our times. And what you've got to make sure you're doing from a business point of view is always being aware of what your particular customers' needs and wants are. I'm really surprised at how much the small change market's changed, the cafes and the restaurants where things are very much a smaller amount rather than the bigger items. I think it shows that you can have a business perhaps that can take advantage of it, that perhaps if people weren't thinking about spending, they could be coerced into it by having a card payment readily available. But when I talk to people, consumers, about budgeting, I think cash is a really handy tool. Drawing out exactly what you want to spend, sticking with that, keeping within your means. I think it's good old-fashioned budgeting.
What about the fact that, as you say, that there are some places where they will only accept cards? There are lots of people who don't massively feel comfortable even just using plastic cards. And I'm not just talking about older generations. Some people are a bit suspicious of contactless and things like that. Are they being prevented from shopping?
I work out of New York quite a lot, and I do tend to use cash over there because it's a foreign currency. I want to be not getting those charges. And I couldn't actually believe the big change year on year in terms of how many businesses have gone to card or mobile payment only. And I just had to walk away from that opportunity, that sales opportunity. So the businesses have got to be aware of that. There could be good reason people want to use cash, and you need to make sure that your consumers aren't going to be offended or just simply shop elsewhere. It's a really competitive marketplace out there. But we know as many retailers use things like self-serve technology, they're looking for efficiencies in terms of serving you. This is something that's much easier for them to operate rather than having to deal with the cash and the change and the flow. So they've got good reason to invest in this too.
But are there concerns about fraud? And, you know, there were people who were concerned about people tapping up against their cards, weren't they, when contactless first came out? People concerned about fraud on their phones. Are we leaving ourselves more open to that kind of thing if we stop using cash altogether?
I think as we see this rise into mobile payments and into card payment only, we're going to probably see more challenges when it comes to technology advancement, and then how many people are left open perhaps to a fraud opportunity. I've certainly experienced it where I've used a contactless payment and then I've had some erroneous transactions on my account. It took weeks and weeks to sort out. So it can happen to the best of us. I think you've got to make sure you're keeping track of your payments. And that's the thing I think that's the difference. When you've got cash, you're really aware of what you're spending. Sometimes when you're just tapping and going, you're probably not checking those transactions for a couple of days and perhaps even longer. And that's when it can really catch you out, because the investigations, if something has gone wrong, do take time.
OK, Kate Hardcastle, always good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks.